Built from the mid-1800s by the Imperial Gas Light and Coke Company, the King's Cross gas holders were a landmark for generations of Londoners. The most remarkable was a triplet, an interlocking lattice of cast iron girders and uprights known as the Siamese triplet. But today, close to where it once stood, it now lies in sections, hidden among the weeds and undergrowth, sacrificed to make way for the St Pancras Channel Tunnel rail link. And yards from the mothballed triplet, but still standing, is gas holder 8, King's Cross's sole remaining nod to Imperial's past. Formed of 16 hollow, cylindrical cast iron columns and capitals, with 2 levels of wrought iron riveted lattice girders, the decorative guide frame remains a stunning structure. Ten years ago, there were 550 gas holders dotted across the country. Today, only 22, including gas holder 8 and the triplet, are listed or in the care of museums. They are relics of a bygone industrial age. But now, both are to be resurrected as part of developer Argent's King's Cross Central development. Bisected by the Regent's Canal, the 27-hectare site is bounded to the south by King's Cross and St Pancras International stations, by High Speed 1, formerly known as the Channel Tunnel rail link, to the west and north, and by York Road to the east. Working to an Allies and Morrison master plan, the development involves the construction of 25 new office buildings, 2,000 new homes and apartments, 20 new streets, 10 new major public spaces, and the restoration of 20 historic buildings and structures. And, as Argent Chief Executive Roger Madeleine explains, in a pocket to the northwest of the site, a couple of 100 metres north of their original position, gas holder 8 and the triplet are to be given a new lease of life, the latter as residential housing and the former as a new public space.
There were 26 gas holder frames on the site at one time. Now, the big triplet structure, the one that everyone kind of remembers and thinks about from King's Cross, was in the way of the St Pancras International Station extension. So they had to be dismantled. The vast majority of the other gas holders were kind of not of high quality, not particularly unique, stuff that you see all over the UK, steel structures, value engineered to the limit. But the one that's standing just behind there, gas holder number 8, dated back from the ages of cast and wrought iron, where tensile strength was just not kind of strong enough to hold these things up, which is why the triplet had to intersect. There just wasn't enough tensile strength there. So gas holder number 8 remains where the Imperial Gas Works were, which is in between King's Cross and St Pancras Station, which is kind of a pretty valuable piece of real estate. We're going to have to, even if we wanted to keep it there, we'd have to take it down and decontaminate the whole area. Is that really the best place for a gas holder structure, taking it down, decontaminating, putting it back? We think actually having it by the canal up here, bringing it back with its triplet brothers, is a much better thing for people to do, because people are going to experience them as they once were. We couldn't put the triplet back up there because the station's in the way, so moving them was the obvious answer. We were determined to use something that was very iconic about King's Cross to show that although we were doing some very new, exciting things, this was rooted in history, the history of the industrial age, Also, they are huge structures, 11 stories of residential buildings we can get in the triplets. They are not going to kind of dwarf the individual. It's going to be very human scale, but they are going to be spectacular because of their sheer scale. And a scheme like this, you need something pretty spectacular. You need something that people are going to talk about. You need something that people are going to go, wow, and that's what we got. So why not use them?
Creating that wow factor for the triplet is London-based architects Wilkinson Eyre. The 10,000-metre square scheme will feature 144 apartments across 3 towers, each tower enclosed by one of the triplet's 3 steel rings. The 2 larger buildings will be topped with ETFE glazing, and all 3 will be linked by high-level walkways. As well as a roof garden and the usual restaurant, bars and shops, at the centre of the triplet, a garden courtyard will be created by taking a bite out of the inner curve of each of the residential towers. But while the King's Cross scheme is striking, it isn't the first time residential units have been built inside gas holders. Vienna has its gasometer district with a quartet of converted brick gas holders, one of which was designed by Jean Nouvel. And Dublin has the gasworks by O'Mahony Pike Architects.
We're obviously aware of other gas holder schemes throughout Europe. We have been over to Dublin. Well, we went over to watch the rugby actually, and we did a detour to look at the gas holder scheme there, which was very disappointing in many ways. We've seen pictures of Vienna. I went to Vienna before we were involved in King's Cross, and I didn't go and look at the gas holder scheme. We haven't really been influenced. These are unique structures. We've got to come up with a unique solution. One day, someone might take me to Vienna, my wife listening, hello, good weekend, and I'll have a look at them. But you should always learn by looking at other examples, but the answer is no, they haven't influenced us yet.
Next to the converted triplet, a rejuvenated gas holder 8 will be re-erected and, in the words of Argent, transformed into a London gem by London-based practice Bell, Phillips and Kimball, winner of a hotly contested design competition.
I think we've got a great compromise of a place that people are going to come just to enjoy. I don't think many people are going to come and say, oh, let's go paddling in gas holder number 8. But I think once they're up here, they say, oh, let's go paddling in gas holder number 8. I think they're going to come here for lots of other reasons. I think they might come here because we've got gas holder number 8, we've got the triplet structure, and we've got the park around it. But something for everyone is easy to say and very difficult to do. But you'll be able to sit, watch the world go by at night. You've got the reflection on the pool. There is some usable space there. Whether you want your wedding or your corporate event there, or community event or festival. I think we've got most ticks in the box with the scheme, and it is going to be wonderful, but not going to take anything away from the grandeur of the frame. That's what it's all about. It is kind of making the frame survive.
But before the design can be realised, like the triplet before it, gas holder 8 must also be dismantled. And then there are the issues as to what colour to paint it, how to deal with contamination and the salvage of any unwanted bits and pieces.
Dismantling a structure from the late 1800s is not something that people do every day, and we're not going to get the hacksaw out and the welding torch because we've got to put it back up again. So I think interests were aligned between us knowing we had to put it back up and English Heritage not wanting us to damage anything. And like lots of people who are very passionate and knowledgeable about any subject, pragmatism always rises to the surface because they want things to happen. So we've had a very sensible discussion about how to take them down. Obviously the triplets have already come down, and that was done very successfully. We're going to use the people that took the triplets down to take gas holder number 8 down. Putting them up should be easier if we remember where all the bits came from. So I think cataloguing and photographing and stuff like that is probably going to be my contribution. Contamination on gasworks sites is a big issue. It's a big issue that's been tackled hundreds of times, thousands of times before. It's nasty, it's smelly, it's expensive, but it's been done. We know how to do it. We've factored it in. We're going to get some surprises down there, but it's not nuclear waste surprises. It's surprises that others have found before. It's the known unknowns, as Mr. Rumsfeld said.
Gas holder 8 as you see it today is black and red, but we've done a series of paint analyses, investigations on the structure, and actually there are about 20 different layers of paint which have been applied since it was put up. The original colour scheme looks like it could have been a tan and a cream colour. Whether we go back to that original colour scheme, I think will be part of the process of restoration, refurbishment and design, which we'll go to when the gas holder 8 has been taken away off the site. But it's kind of an interesting one because obviously it's an iconic structure today and it's known for its black and red scheme, but actually that's not the original colour. So there'll be some kind of interesting debates about what colour we actually kind of reapply and put it up. So obviously when we need to look at gas holder 8 and we need to, as I've already said, take it down and move it off the site. And when we redesign it and look at what we're going to put inside the gas holder and how we're going to re-erect it, we might not keep all of the parts which are currently in situ with the gas holder 8. We certainly are very unlikely to be keeping the wrought iron bell and the tanks, the brick tanks which exist underneath the gas holder 8, and potentially some of the wheels and rollers up the sides of the gas holder, although we are intending to reuse as much of that as we possibly can because it kind of adds to the character of the structure. But what we will do with the pieces that we're not using is to offer it to salvage companies, and before that we'll actually offer it to museums and see if they're interested in it as well. Wrought iron, for example, is what the bell's made of, and that's not made anymore, so it has a value and can be used in repair work. So if no museum wants it, then we'll offer it to salvage companies and they'll take it away and reuse it.
I love the gasometers because they're 11 stories high, they're big, they're iconic, they're talked about, they're provocative, and it's enough said really, isn't it? Who doesn't like them? People that don't like big, iconic, challenging things, I guess, might not like them, but that's not me.